Good day, everybody. It's Max, and welcome back to the Transport Fever to the Maritimes series. That's right. And as we get closer to the end of this series, in this episode, it's going to be into the 50s. And what we want to do now is we're going to upgrade a couple of train lines. We've basically got in all the freight lines that we're going to be able to fit in on this map just because of map limitations. So I thought it's time to start focusing on a few upgrades instead. And of course, we like to play with two specific trains on that. For the passenger lines, I'd like to have Alcoa trains. Yeah, because they're fancy and they bring back a few childhood memories for me. And for the freight lines, I think in New Brunswick especially, we are definitely going to try out some big boys because those freight lines in New Brunswick are big, long lines. Yes, they're a little bit shunty. There's a little bit of shunting going on with that, which doesn't benefit the big boys, but I think there's enough long distance on those lines that it will still make good money. And right now, it's not really about the money anymore. Now it's just about playing some fun. So let's get into it and make us some upgraded train lines. And welcome to 1950. That's right, time moves on, and I think I've got this cranked to 4 times speed. So let's pause that for a minute. In this particular case, what we've got going on now is 1950 is finally when you start getting the big freight cars. And, of course, a few years earlier, we got the biggest freight train. Oh, yeah, that's right. In fact, where's a depot here? Because you got to be able to look at it to say, yes, that's what we want right there. Sure enough, down. There it is. There's the big boy. Oh, yeah. I mean, this thing's a monster. It's just a monster. Of course, the other thing that has come out very recent, within just a few years ago, is the Alcoa series. And as a kid, I mean, I grew up seeing Alcoas with Via Rail all painted up and coming through town and the whole 9 yards. So that is kind of the generation. I grew up here with North America. Of course, the big boy is a big thing, and of course, so today we want to replace a few train lines. Let's have a look at our lines. Of course, the lines are doing super awesome. Summerside, the bus line, it runs really close to profitability all the time. Sometimes it dips into minus 2,000, and then it goes up to like 2,000, and it just kind of goes back and forth. And I don't want to kill any of the buses on this just because they are feeding that little PEI tourist train of ours. So, you know, I don't want to kill that train off because I mean it does between $800,000 and $1 million. It's kind of cool, right? You know, it goes back and forth and it's happy-go-lucky. The Edmundston line still, of course, float around zero. Again, they're being butchered by the other 3 food lines up there. And poor Edmundston's getting the short end of the stick. But it does kind of squeak out. It kind of squeaks out every once in a while. It's a thing. Now, the Yarmouth, the latest on the Yarmouth food line. Hey, 10 million. Boom. But you'll notice the Port Hawkesbury train and truck line is blank. We're going to cover that in a second. But the Yarmouth line is doing quite well. I am going to explain. Let's, in fact, have a look at the trains here. So we had put on A4s on this line, and you'll now notice they're A3s. Oop, hello. No, yeah, that's right. We'll just go to you. So there's Scotsmans, which are just as cool, by the way. And the reason that is the A4s at $9 million were not being able to be taken fully advantage of. We were still working with these 80 kilometer an hour freight cars, and that train, the A4s would go faster than the A3s, so I was spending more on maintenance. They were squeaking out profit, but just barely. The extra, and I mean this, and I mean it's kind of all part of the balance. I mean sometimes you won't get a lot of profit if you're choosing trains that are really, really expensive to run and maintain. So that is definitely something you got to go for. So I downgraded them one from A4s to A3s, and they're doing just fine. I mean, A3 is the Scotsmen are really cool trains themselves. We should be able to follow you for a second. We'll just slowly turn you on here. Yeah, I mean the A3s, man, they're a nice looking train, right? Yeah, they make us money, right? That's what this is all about. But it is finally time to start doing some passenger line upgrades and a couple other things. Now let's talk about the Port Hawkesbury food line. Now what we had done was we were using this farm and this farm to try and feed this Port Hawkesbury line, right? We were also using this farm as a substitute for the Yarmouth line, and Port Hawkesbury was basically the victim of the Edmundston deal, right? Except the problem was that both farms were being hacked and slashed for other reasons. So this farm down here, almost all the raw food was going towards the Yarmouth pickup. And here in Truro, because we built this one way back in episode 1, right? So these two farms were feeding Truro. Because this farm and Truro have been feeding each other for so long, this farm was giving nothing to Port Hawkesbury. It was like every time it dumped food, it would dump all the food over here, and it dumped nothing onto this train line. It was like, nope, I'm not giving that train anything. My Truro guys, they've been around for 100 years. We're good, right? So Port Hawkesbury and the train that was running back and forth here for Port Hawkesbury was so losing money hand over fist, and it was just because it wasn't getting any food. It couldn't get any food. Like, no matter what I did, it just was not getting food. And that's kind of a thing with a custom map, right? This custom map has what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I mean, it has over 20 towns on it. It just doesn't have enough industry to cover all the industry in all the towns. And I mean, I knew we were going to run into this problem at some point, and up to this point, I'm surprised we've gotten very lucky to be able to do what we've been able to do with the map, which is why, we're getting close to finishing with the map. I mean, there's not much more you can hook up in this thing to actually generate anything. So, of course, in this episode, we're going to fix up some passenger lines. We're going to give them the new Alcoa trains. Yeah, we're going to zip them around. I'd like to be able to see... a couple of big boys running, right? Especially up here in New Brunswick. They got really nice freight lines running a couple of big boys on. I think we're going to do that here in a sec. So, with that, first of all, the passenger lines. Yeah, passenger lines. Nova Scotia train passenger line. Yeah, sure. Managed vehicles. We want to replace these with Alcoas. Now, these are carrying, I think it's, 80 people, right? So we don't want to really go much more than that. In fact, let's just check the stations here to see what their capacity is. So that, they're holding 129, but that's not bad. You see, that's only 21, right? Here is 0. There's nobody extra waiting there. Okay, 230 there, sure. 404, wow, that's actually a really big number. Let's see that passenger line for a second. Now, darn it all. There was a way, I cannot remember it, unfortunately. We got there, 201 for the Nova Scotia train lines. So we got, I don't know, half the stations are pretty packed, and then we got a few empty stations. So we can probably try 100. Let's try, getting 100 on there. But we'll see if them stations empty out, and then if I have to cut them back to 80, right? So Nova Scotia train passenger line, right? Manage the vehicles. and we are going to swap this. Now, I would love to do the double header, but there's just no these. I can't see them making that much money. I just can't do it. Yep. Give me the trains, locomotives, diesel trains. Yes, this train. Passenger car. And where's your passenger car at? Yes. 2, 3, 4. That's 95. Really? Is that going to be a problem? It's mediocre? Is it really mediocre? I don't know. I thought that would have done a little better, actually. Well, you know what? Let's give this a treat. Why not? I mean, it's not like we're gonna go broke if the line starts losing money, and I can always replace them, right? So, diesel units. Yeah, give me the big double heading PAPB. Let's do this. Yeah, we got some power now. I can't believe that's mediocre. Give me a break. We'll go 114. We will go 114. Let's do that. So let's replace these. Boom. And same in New Brunswick, right? Yeah, my Atlantic trains, they've been doing really good for a long time, and we're just giving them a little bit of a rest. It's time for them to retire after almost 80 years in service. Let's see, where's my Nova Scotia? New Brunswick, train passenger line. Yep, thank you very much. Replace the vehicles. I thought I had 5 trains on that one too. Again, we should actually have a look at how passengers are here. You are 373. Wow. 156. 256. 70. No surprise there. The northern cities. 288. Wow, these guys can really handle some big trains. So you know what? We're going to give them some big trains. That's what we're going to do. Yep. New Brunswick train passenger line. Managed vehicles. And yeah, so this time I actually am not going to even question this one. We are definitely going to give them the big double. And in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to give them 7 and see if they can't catch up. And again, I can always cut these back. But we'll see how they do. Boom! How's that? Man, that's some trains. So let's get this running. You know what? I want to see some trains. You know, do some things. Give me a train. Yeah, show me that. Oh man, they look so good. They just look so good. Oh, yeah. No. Stop that. There we go. They look so awesome. I mean, doesn't that look great? That looks awesome. I mean, you know, that's all that in a bag of chips right there. Yipper. Yep. Now, I expect you to be hauling, buddy. I expect you to haul, right? I mean, I've got the double... I gave you the big upgrade, so you know I expect you to move. Heading to Bathurst, okay. Man, this is gonna be awesome. I mean, these are nice looking trains. And this just brings back a lot of memory for me, I guess. You know. So that must have been Campbellton on this map. And here we got a freight train coming along. Zoom. One of the Atlantics hauling oil up here. You're about to get a replacement, dude. You're going to get a replacement. All right. Yeah, so he's doing over 105. He's hauling pretty good now. And that's what I expect. I expect these trains to move, right? Because they got to move with all these passengers to be making money. You can't be spending $13 million on a train and expect it not to move, right? So I mean, it's got to be a thing. Man, that's a nice looking train. Nice looking train. Look at that. Hey, there we go. Let's move down this way a little bit. Yeah, doing 128. Not too bad. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it is hauling a fair amount of cars. And really, I should have put a 5th train on this line, cut one car back, and run it like the Nova Scotia line. Look at the people in this station. Holy smokes. Yep, there's a few people waiting for this train. Look, there's so many people on this waiting on this platform, they're standing in the grass. That's where we are now. Yep, everybody get off. Wow, not a whole lot of people get off, let me tell you. That's right, gotta like this brand new train. Latest of technology. Woo! Yeah, that's right, heading for Moncton. Okay, let's get out of here. I'd like to see one in Nova Scotia. All right. You are probably one. Yep, you are definitely one. All right. And this, of course, these ones are one car shorter, so they are hauling a little bit less. Bay of Fun Day right behind us, right there, because this is Truro coming up. That must be Amherst over there. So yeah, coming into Truro, looks pretty good. We'll add a little scenery here for the last episode, just so as we can take little tours on these things and bring them along. The Truro to Halifax Highway. Yep, we are keeping them low grade on purpose. Of course, by keeping them roads down as low as they'll go, because we're not using them for any of our freight purposes, what we're doing there is basically forcing people to travel by our trains because it's faster. I know it's a little bit of a quirky thing, but hey, it works, it works. Hey everybody, look, brand new train. Woo, yeah. Pretty sure Truro does not have that many skyscraper towers. Might have, what, 2? I think it has 2. And the tallest one's like 4 floors tall. So nothing that tall, I'll tell you right now. Yes, looks great. Now, I am going to replace them, that connector line, because I see that Atlantic connector line is there, but I'm going to do that next episode. That's going to get a big upgrade on the next episode, that's for sure. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so now for the fuel lines. Now, I don't care about the money. I don't care about money going down. Costs, whatever. Costs. Who cares about costs? Okay. Now. Okay, so the big trick to these, of course, is that these trains are. I do some pretty funky things with these lines, right? We're doing double pickups, we're doing double shunt pickups, the whole 9 yards on these lines with these trains. And you can do that kind of stuff with the Atlantics because they're fairly cheap to run, right? So their top speed's 100K, right? You can kind of do this kind of double shunting running and all this stuff with cheaper trains. Now, that being said, I do want to replace them with big boys, right? Because, I mean, come on, they're big boys. That being said, big boys are not efficient at all this double shunting stuff, okay? I will be not surprised one iota bit if they start to lose money hand over fist. Now, again, I got, $3 billion. I don't really care about that. I mean, they're big boys. We want to look at them. That being said, big boys run on direct lines much better. They don't do so well on these double shunt run type lines that I've got designed here at the moment. So yes, a big boy would do perfectly fine if it picked up raw oil, dropped it off here for refinement, and then just took straight to the fuel and then dropped it off in St. John and came back. But it won't do as good picking up fuel, dropping it off, picking up more fuel, dropping it off, and doing this double shunt run business that we got going on, right? So we're going to do it anyway. I mean, yeah, duh, we're going to do it anyway. And it should look good. It should look really good. You are the St. John Fuel Train Line. Yes, you are. And I mean, you guys are the bomb. And there are 5 of you. And we want to manage the vehicles. Now, we had to wait to this point because obviously the big boy goes big, right? You know, I mean, first of all, it's $17 million to buy it. It's $3 million in maintenance a year, right? So, you know, these things, like, these are not cheap trains, right? And I think this line might barely cover the cost of running all these, but we're going to try it. Cargo trains. The other thing we had to wait for was the tank cars, right? So these are carrying 120 now. And so these are now carrying 18. So I'm going to try 180 from 120. We'll see if St. John can handle the extra load. I'm not quite sure if it can, but we're going to give it a shot. Boom. Oh, yes. These will look awesome. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is they are not the only freight trains on this line. So that's Yarmouth, Woodstock. Yeah, so Woodstock also has these trains. We're going to swap these around. Yeah, we're going to swap all 3 of them. I know, that's pretty crazy. And the reason is once again, it's a speed factor. I'm going to pause this for a second. We're not running multiple freight lines. We're using 2 tracks to run all our freight and all our trains. Having different speed trains on lines like that will cause you a lot of problems. I mean, you're spending big money on these big fast trains. The last thing you want is to have little putt-putt trains stuck in front of them so they can't take full advantage of their speed, right? When you're going to do these kinds of upgrades, unless you're running multiple lines that different speeds of trains can run on, you've got to basically upgrade all the trains using those lines. It is something that you have to keep, or at least keep the speeds relatively close, right? So, like, let's say you were running A4s and they do a 150, and then these Russians also did 150. Okay, fine, you could do that kind of train, but you can't really do a whole bunch of 130s with trains that are barely running 95, 100. They'll run into each other all the time. Cargo. And again, we're going to try 180 here. Sure. Boom. Look at that. That's crazy. But I still have another set of trains here in New Brunswick I want to replace, and that is going to be those brick lines. That's not Moncton. That would be Fredericton's. Fredericton's brick train lines. 10-5 combination. Now, again, I don't even know if Fredericton has the capability to hold this much freight, but we're going to try it. Of course we are. Because they're going to look good if nothing else. Steam. Yes, big boy. 10-5s is the cargo configuration. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And where is your gondolas? Flat car. That's capacity 13. No. There we go. That's really weird. Like 13. 18, 18. Like that car actually looks longer than this one. But sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now, Let's see one of these run, right? Yeah, now the next thing is that you got to be a little careful with these trains because a lot of our signaling, and this is something I see a lot on player maps, is the signaling is designed for your older trains at shorter distance. So sometimes you have to readjust your signaling to match the new signaling that you've got going on. Yeah, look at this. This is gorgeous. Oh, I didn't get the screenshot in time. That was terrible. Yeah, look at that. Though I do want to have a look at this guy for a second. Let's follow the, yeah, we've already followed up a few fuel lines. Let's follow some good old-fashioned, you know, brick-laying trains, because that's what they do. Yes, I need you to take this. Where are you going to take this? You're going to take this somewhere. Fredericton Brick Train Line. I have no idea where he's taking this. I can't remember. Oh, he's going to take that all the way up there and then swing around. Oh, this is actually going to be a really good ride. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, now are we in trouble? We're in trouble. We're in trouble. Look at this. Yep. Stop. So, right here, perfect example, right? So the problem is that he can't get out on this line because he's not big enough. In fact, wow, it was a good thing we're watching this line really close. I'm gonna bulldoze this line. Yep. And we're gonna get him out here a little bit sooner. And this, again, this is a big problem with big trains, is that if you're not watching them really close, you could run into a lot of problems really fast. All right, can you get out there now, big guy? Yeah, see? Just that close, just that close. You know, you really got to make sure your trains can fit this stuff. And, you know, it's something I'll have to watch for the next hour to make sure that trains can actually get out onto their line. So that one looks like it was okay. Especially in a lot of these tight areas where I had to like do a lot of tight turns and all that stuff. You know, it's only going to take one train to mess this all up. And trust me, fixing it is so hard. It's really a pain. No, let's go faster. Surely I couldn't have messed up too many stations, right? I mean, you know. There we go. Let's see this. Let's see you cruise, big guy. Yeah, look at that. That's cruising. Okay, you're waiting for somebody. I know you are. Who are you waiting for? You shouldn't be waiting for anybody. Heading for Moncton East? Waiting for free path. What path are you waiting for? Really? You waited for him to come all the... What are you doing? What are you doing? See, now that's a problem. So this guy, he just came all the way back on the wrong lane. That's crazy. So that means we have another station somewhere, and he's not even attempting to fix it. He's like, I'm perfectly fine. I'm just gonna keep driving. But he's got to fix it here. Yep. So, yeah, if we have a look at this line, yeah, like he is totally off of his line. Like he is totally off of this. And that is because he was not able to get onto a train line somewhere. Chances are it's probably up here. I would say. Yep, all the way up here, look. I would say it was here he got stuck because this freight station is really, really short. And because it was really short, I had to put this in a lot sooner than I wanted to. Let's now see if we can't fix that. Yep. So we're going to have to back this off. And again, this just shows just how quickly everything can go apart really fast, right? Yep. There we go. And yep, thank you very much. Sure, yep. We have signals here that will cover that. So let's have a look at that line again. Nope. Thank you. Now, hopefully that should fix that train, and he will now stay on his appropriate track. Meanwhile, where is this train at? Okay, it looks like he's finally able to go now, because he's like, hey, look at that. This train's now out of my way. This train, who is supposed to be on the brick line, and isn't at the moment, of course, because he couldn't get into a station somewhere. The other part here is, looks like this brick line's giving me all kinds of trouble. And I would say it's going to probably give me some more up here. So you know what? I'm going to fix that right now. Yep. We're just going to make sure you're a little bit longer right now, my friend. Yeah, and construction is not possible because you're very upset with that signal. I'm okay with that. We will fix that. There we go. Congratulations. Goodbye. There, that should take care of that whole issue. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, we were going to be watching this train cruise on up here. And we're definitely going to get to see this now in the works. Okay. Where are you at? Oh, the second brick line. Oh, the second brick pickup. All right, we'll watch you for a second. It's always a mystery, you know. It's always a mystery. But this is always the risk of running big trains, especially after been running small trains. All right, so now we're all stopped here again. Look at the line up there. What's going on here? All right, we got a line up here, and you're waiting for somebody. Because you're waiting for somebody? Who are you waiting for? Yeah, I'll bet you're waiting for a free path. Who are you waiting for? You're the brick line. Really? I don't have a signal all the way down there? Okay. Sure, we can probably give them a signal. You know, I'm not that mean. There, you can have one signal for you. Congratulations. And of course that makes sense because we don't want trains blocking this, but I should have had probably one more signal to kind of force him forward a little bit. There you go. You can go now, big guy. There we are. Okay, I'm gonna double check all this. I'll bring you back once I've double checked all of these trains because we want to make sure they're all gonna run really good. And then we're gonna, you know, I still want to check out this brick line. I'm very curious about the brick line running. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, we're back, and the trains are all spaced back out. I haven't seen any other problems, so I mean, I might have missed one. You don't know. But the brick line is definitely working really well at 12 million plus, even with the big boys on there costing the money they cost. And that's just because, again, they're hauling so much freight now that they can justify the cost that they are running. I mean, that's just what it is. You know, when you have trains that are able to haul $3-4 million worth of goods, it's not such a big problem anymore. And in fact, we can We'll speed this up a little bit, and then follow this one around to Fredericton. So of course this one just picked up stone and is now on his way back to Fredericton to drop off, and then we are going to see him turn around and head back for more stone and all the things. So that is Moncton in the background, and of course he just loves to cruise right along on this rail. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. We should actually see a second one of these coming up here shortly. Yeah, there goes the St. John fuel trains. One of the new passenger trains running just ahead of us there. We should probably catch that when we come by here in St. John. There's the other brick train. Its timing is pretty good at the moment. I'm pretty happy about that. And of course, these guys are going around the station because there's no stop for them there. So there, of course, is one of our trains. Yep. A little bit of a loop-de-doo there. I'm not big about the loop. I'm not very happy about the loop-de-doo. But I mean, I'm not going to worry about it this late in the game. Sometimes you just got to accept the fact that you're going to have a few loop-de-doos on the rails. I mean, it's a game. You kind of just got to accept that fact. And yep, coming into Fredericton here shortly. He's got 90 brick on. That's a full train of brick. And Fredericton is eating it all up and making us money on it. So, we're always happy about that. Yep, you just go ahead and take all that brick. Thank you very much for playing our game today, and I will take all your money. Yep, for sure. And here comes the passenger train. Zoom, right by us there. Yeah, so that's actually working really good now. That's working really good. Pretty happy. Final thoughts for this episode is, of course, we've got the big boys running. We've got the new passenger lines running. And, yeah, the poor Port Hawkesbury food line. I really wish I could have gotten them some food. But there's just no farms left. There's no farms left to get them any food. And anything I kept trying to do food with them kept butchering everything else. Truro just wasn't going to give them food. He was like, nope, I am not giving you any food. And it didn't. It refused. And every time I tried to get food from here, it just kept stealing it from Yarmouth, which made both lines unprofitable. So you kind of got to draw a line somewhere. So that's why when you play custom maps, you got to make sure that when you do play custom maps, or if you're making a custom map, don't go so crazy putting on like a bunch of towns. In fact, you want to make sure that even on a large map, I wouldn't say any more than 10 towns. Now, I knew when I was making, when I got this map, of course, I had to do a lot of editing on it. And I knew by putting all these towns on here, it was going to really push this thing to the limit. I also knew that I had to put a lot of extra industry down, which is why I did what I did. I've got oil wells everywhere, and I've got, I thought I had enough farms down to cover them all, but I guess I didn't. I mean, it's just the way it is, right? And I wanted to give myself a few extra challenges, like, doing this 4-lap food line up here with only the 3 farms. Yes, which actually worked out really well, and even then Evanston isn't totally losing out on, but I have pushed it to the limit now with Port Hawkesbury and literally trying to steal food from all the places, and that's no surprise. That's no surprise there. With that, I'm Max. Next episode, what are we doing? Well, it's going to be a little bit later, and those passenger lines are going to get one more upgrade. And the other final line to put in is the True Via Rail line, which is going to start from Campbellton through Bathurst, Moncton, Truro, and I'd like to get it into Halifax. That is going to be a bit of a challenge because right now the only rail running from Truro to Halifax is the Nova Scotia Loop line, and in this case we are actually going to want a passenger line to come into Halifax, and looks like I kind of planned it in here already. I've got the track out there. Whew, good thing I was thinking a little bit ahead, but I don't know. I don't know how good it will work. We'll soon find out, I guess. So at least when I did that, I was a little bit smart, because I mean, I'd never get it in here now. I mean, yes, I would. It would cost me $1 billion, but I could plow down enough stuff that I could get it in. But it's nice that I've got at least the connector line there. Truro, of course, already has this connection line between Truro, Amherst, and Moncton. So I'm going to take advantage of that and use that as the line. That's why I didn't upgrade the trains on that one. And then, of course, Bathurst and Campbellton. And, of course, that VIA line would then run into Quebec if it were to keep going. But in this particular case, this has been Transport Fever 2, and I am going to see you on the next one. Take care.